Listo.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so this is the good old Xenon back here at BNR Magazine Radio. And as always, well, we have excellent guests, and especially talking about the metal scene, right, which is the one that we like the most. But you're not in Mexico, you're not in the United States. Okay, so well, now tell you, where are you right now? Okay, so where are you? Well, where are we having this interview? I mean, where are we going right now?
We are going all the way to the western part of Canada and having this interview via Zoom.
Yes, exactly. That is one of the things that we really like about technology. Okay, so now we're in Mexico, you're in Canada, and we can know everybody from everywhere, right? Which is the best thing. Okay, and well, but tell us something about the band. What about if you introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you play and everything about your band?
Absolutely, man. Well, my name is on paper R.A. Voltaire. All my friends call me Rav, and we sing in a band called RAVENOUS. It's a Canadian power speed metal band, and I'm also responsible for doing the website and all the merch designs and all the audio production and everything else in the band as well. But yeah, that is my job, that is my role, and obviously very happy to be here doing this interview with you.
No, thank you very much. Okay, so well, in the past, for example, okay, so we had a person that was in charge of the website, and there was another one in charge of the merchandising, and another one in charge of the interviews and all that. But now you're taking care of everything.
Literally everything. I sign all the contracts, do all the paperwork. All I ask is my bandmates show up, get drunk, and play their guitars, and everything is good to go.
well, but that means that you're in control of everything. Okay, so they are playing for you, or is it a complete band, the one that you have?
No, that's the thing is I do these things because everybody else in the band has a real job. You know, they go to work all day and they work very hard and they have families and lives. I live in my studio and this is all I do 24/7. So it's just a sharing of responsibility. But the band, everybody works together. It's a very democratic process. You know, we get always making sure that it's not nobody steps on each other's feet. It's if I come up with an idea, I pass it to one guy, he does something, we see if we agree, then pass along to the next guy. By the time it comes all the way around, we decide, okay, is this good? Is this what we want to do? Okay, then I'll go ahead and finish the rest then.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that is something very interesting, right? Because, for example, okay, so nowadays, okay, so well, the music industry, okay, so well, you cannot just be playing and all that. I mean, sometimes you have to be doing something else, right, to support families and all that. Well, tell us something about, but what about when you get together? Okay, so how often do you get together? Is it every week or just to prepare material? Okay, so how do you work, especially
Well,
with
we
all these
just finished.
responsibilities?
Yeah, no kidding. We just finished a bunch of shows. So usually we'll get together before we do any tours or any shows and basically just rehearse for 2 weeks straight, get everything ready to go, and then go hit the road. But outside of that, when we're writing, because each one of us has our own studio at home, or at least enough where we could track our guitars and things like that, it's anytime someone has an idea, they'll record the idea and then put it into the group chat and say, okay, who wants to do something with this idea? And we decide yes, no, whatever it is. But if something comes up and I go, you know what, this gives me an idea for another idea, then I'll go in, I'll record some parts, send it to everyone. By the time it comes around again, you know, we have the whole studio set up. We put in all the tracks and we say, okay, here is now the working, you know, multi-track file for everybody. So we get to make our contributions, make it all happen. And when the time it's done, that brings together the whole song. So with this last album that we put out, we did that for 20 songs in 2 weeks. So we wrote 20 songs all together and then basically said, okay, are these the songs? Let's pick the best 10 out of the 20. And then now let's go into the studio and actually record it.
Well, that is excellent. I mean, because I was taking a look at the website and well, okay, so this is not a new band. You have like 3 or 4 records.
Yeah, we basically have the first EP was like almost like a demo, you know, just to see, hey, we have this idea because the whole idea behind the band was take the parts of, you know, all the genres of metal that we like take the aggression of black metal, take the speed of thrash metal, take the big power anthems of power metal, take the very interesting writing of prog metal. Can we mix these things, not where every song is a different genre, but the whole thing is one genre, one product, but it gives you the feeling of all those other genres. it calls to them. So we did that first demo to see maybe this is a good idea, maybe it's a terrible idea, and everyone's gonna hate it. But when we did it, and we did a few tours, we played with Hammerfall, we played with Delane, and the response was really good. So that's when we decided, okay, let's do an album. And when that first album came out, it was great. We went on tour with Ailstorm, we had this amazing time, and then COVID happened. So we had nothing to do. So we went immediately saying, okay, well, I guess we'll just write another album right away. So it's been a very interesting time, but it's been very good because, like you said, because of technology, you know, we're working with people all around the world. Our guest artists are from everywhere around the world. And even now, before I'm talking to you, I'm working on a band from Sweden and working on their music. So it's, yeah, it hasn't been as hard as it's hard and it sucks, but it's, we've had very lucky chance of being able to work with people and continue working on music through this time.
Well, that is excellent. And well, tell us something. Okay, so how did you set up this project together? Okay, so well, who was the first person that had the idea, or are you coming from different bands?
So the whole band started. I went backpacking around Europe, going to all the major metal festivals, and I came back very inspired, as most metalheads would, right? You go to Wacken and Metal Days and all these big festivals, Sweden Rock. So when I came back, I said, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is the kind of band that I want to do. And I know that it was going to be a little bit of different genres. So that's actually why, you know, we've got Jake, our guitar player, is the, you know, leading member of a local prog metal band. And Skylar, the other guitar player, is the front man for a local thrash metal band. Chris is the front man for a local black metal band. So it was kind of the idea of getting these guys from these other bands. They're usually, you know, they're also the leaders of their bands. The drummer plays in a polka band, you know, and say, what, like, this is my idea. Do you guys want to bring your influences in, but work together? You know, this isn't something where it jumps all over the place. We know there's very avant-garde kind of bands like that. That's not for me. I have really bad ADHD. I can't listen to that kind of music. I get distracted very easily. So that was the whole idea. And luckily we all worked together very well, so that it's not, you know how they say, too many cooks in the kitchen, you know, where your grandma and your other grandma and your auntie and your mom, they're all in the kitchen. They're all telling each other how to cook. It's just like, no, we work very well together. So that's how everything came about.
And what about the other bands? Because, for example, if they were members of other projects, did they say, you know what, okay, so well, I'm going to leave those projects and I'm going to continue only with you? Or, okay, so how did it work out, for example?
No, man, this is heavy metal. Don't you know every musician plays in 17 different bands? The whole music scene is 4 guys sometimes. No, they still play with their other bands. They still tour with their other bands, but it's just balance, right? You make sure you find time for work. You make sure you find time for love, and you make sure you find time for music.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is excellent. Really, really well. And tell us something, for example, okay, so now this project, because I can see that, for example, on the background, okay, so well, you got a lot of music, right? So that means that you're a metalhead. So I suppose that you know a lot about music and all that, right? What about the scene in Canada? Once I was talking to a friend of mine who also lives in Canada, Saints of Death. I don't know if you are familiar with them. And he
Sorry,
was
who?
telling me Saints of Death, that is the name of the band.
Oh yeah, of course.
Uh-huh. And he was telling me that, well, it was very difficult. The scene in Canada, I mean, the metal scene was like very difficult. Not a lot of bands, not a lot of people. Okay, so what is your personal opinion about that?
So the big problem with Canada is the geography. There's so much space in between where you can play concerts. And inside each city, you only have 2 options to play: the small bar and the big arena. There's nothing in between, right? So for bands like us, you know, we do well, you know, 300-400 people, it's good. But if you go any bigger, then you have to be able to fill 10,000 people in a, you know, in a big event center that where all the major artists play. So there's no way to kind of scale up in your own city. You just stay where you are. You keep playing the same venues. Then the other problem with it is a lot of venues shut down during COVID. So that made things even harder. And then on top of it, if I'm touring in Europe, I drive, you know, 1 or 2 hours. I'm in another country. I'm in a whole other crowd, a whole other demographic. Here, I drive 16 hours. I'm still in the same country. And that's like, there's nothing in between. So you imagine you're playing in a band, you finish playing, you're headlining, everything's great. You get 0 rest. You load all of your gear in the van and you drive 16 hours straight just to load in the next venue the next day. Like it's very hard and taxing on the body, and the fact that after November it becomes extremely dangerous to tour. Like right now we have some friends in punk bands that are touring, and they're just, every day is a chance that they die, and that's the end of their career, because all it takes is you slip on some ice and it's over. You don't run into those issues in some other countries. So yes, touring Canada is very difficult, but as a result, it makes it that the people that do it, they're very, very dedicated. The people that tour, there's nobody doing this casually. If you're a touring band and you're putting out albums and you're working hard in Canada, you mean business. And the bands that do it, they're so passionate, and they believe so strongly in what they do, that it makes for a very strong scene, even though it's less bands, because we have less population than, let's say, all of Canada is like the population of California. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. And that reminds me, for example, now that you're telling me that, well, you really have to love the scene and all that, it reminds me of this Canadian band, for example, like Enville, right? That 40 years
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to love it. You have to want to, I don't want to be dramatic like Joey DeMeo from Manowar, but like you want to die for metal. Like it's something that should put fire in your blood, right? And if it doesn't do that, you're in the wrong genre.
Yes, I totally agree. Okay, well, and let's talk about the first of all. Okay, let's talk about the EP. Okay, so how many albums do you have? So it's one EP and you have two albums, right?
Right. So one EP, two albums, each one exactly 2 years apart. We always make sure, always 2 years, everything in the middle. And then right now, with the pre-order of this album that we just released, we had a perk saying, if you want, you can pay, a certain amount of dollars and we'll cover a song for you. But not just cover it, we'll do it as like a power speed metal song. So we had about 7 or 8 people that paid for covers, and we have previous covers from other albums. So we also decided, well, fuck it, in between album 2 and 3, why don't we do a cover album? Because we're already going to have the songs anyway. So this is something that's going to be coming up. But this is kind of the idea of how we work: is you release an album, you tour, you do whatever you can, as much as you can, even right now with COVID. And then you say, okay, then we take a break and say, okay, now we start writing for the next one. Because what people don't realize is when the album comes out in October, the band has the finished product in March in their hands, and they can't talk about it, they can't release it, they can't show anybody, because then you have to send it to press, you have to send it to the labels, you have to send it to everybody else. So it takes a very long time for these things to happen. And for us, 20 songs in 2 weeks, like that's like record time we wrote those songs, because we had nothing to do. We were just sitting at home. We weren't allowed to leave. So we all sat at home, open Zoom, and just start playing guitar, right?
Okay, well, and what about the first EP? What can you tell us about the first EP, for example? Let's talk about the first one, and let's talk about the favorite songs, some of the songs that you're still playing.
Okay, so the very first EP is called Eternal Hunger. And as everyone knows, our band name is Ravenous, but for legal reasons, it's Ravenous EH. And it stands for Eternal Hunger for the first EP and everything. But we joke that, because we're a Canadian band, it's Ravenous A. So that's how we're the Canadian Ravenous, not the one from Austria. And then so the first EP was actually, the whole thing was recorded in like 2 days. It was just quick, jump in, do everything, MIDI drums, whatever, get it all finished. And to this day, we still play the song Adrift on there, because that was really the song that kind of got everyone to pay attention to us. They're going to say, okay, we like this band, we like this song, I'm going to give them a shot. We ended up re-recording Adrift, Mercenary, and Strength of a Hero from the EP on the main album when we went to actually go into the studio and record it. And that first album, Eat the Fallen, is, I think the whole thing took us maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And we, again, same thing, home studio, just hammer it out, get it done, get it mixed and mastered, and then put out the full album. And then I'll stop there. I'll let you continue with your questions.
Now, for some of us that, for example, would like to find, for example, the EP, is it available? Is it available online, or is it available physically?
Physically, it's sold out. And we have a very strong policy. When something sells out, we stop making it. It makes it so, when we release something, it's, hey, you either get it now or you get it never. So the EP is sold out. You cannot get it anymore. It doesn't exist anywhere. It will not be repressed or reprinted like that. It's gone.
I remember, for example, okay, so well, long time ago now, there's here in Mexico, there's like a flea market, and you can find a lot of stuff from different bands, I mean, from the past. And I saw once, okay, so well, records from Metallica, from Wasp, from Tokyo Blade, all these bands, very, very expensive. Is that what you're thinking about your material, for example, that in 20 more years, you're going to say, oh, well, I want to find something from Revenues and Jesus. I mean, it's very expensive.
I mean, it's funny for me because I don't even own these things. So for me, later on, if we become a big band, I'm like, I wonder if I can find my own EP, and then so I have to buy it off some guy off eBay for $500. No way, man, that's too much. But no, it's just for us. It's a like a supply and demand, right? Like we have to be very careful because touring is so hard. You have to treat your band like a business, and like any business, you open a restaurant and you say, I'm gonna buy, I don't know, 600 jukeboxes. Is like, well, you only need one, man, like, but if you have something where it's like a special item, you could either buy too many of them and be stuck with them, or you can buy a smaller amount and just make it so it's something rare and collectible. Like people don't really buy CDs these days as much as they used to. We wanted to print vinyl for the new album. They said it was a 2-year wait, like, so for us, we have to create this sense of, okay, if you support us, you get a copy, and you're one of the few people that has a copy. Everybody else can buy everything online because everything's on the Bandcamp page. It's all MP3s. It's always going to be of it. That will never sell out. But with physical copies, it's bringing the value to CDs again. These aren't just tiny crappy little coasters you throw around and you lose them and whatever. It's no, I have one of the 300 Ravenous CDs in the world, and so you're going to treat it with a little more value.
No, yes, of course, and you're going to love it a little bit more and open it up. And I mean, just watching the pictures and all that. Okay, so well, especially for me, let me tell you something. I'm from the old school, right? So I really let me see. Well, I don't have them here, but I have my CDs, my tapes, and all that because you're a fan. When you're a fan, I mean, you need to have the physical thing. I mean, even if you have the Spotify and all that, and it's like a cloud that sooner or later, like. Well, for example, like this other, what was the name? Okay, so well, the other media that disappeared, right? Okay, so it's like,
yeah, exactly. Like, and this is a thing that I love about, like, let's say Mexico and Mexican fans, right? Is that there is a culture of, we're dedicated to the old school and we want to have the physical copy. A lot of Europeans are like that as well. Like, we want the CD, we want the vinyl, we want the autographs. But then we find in some other places, like especially in North America, it's, I don't have anything that has a CD player anymore. So like, it just takes up space in my house. Like, I don't want it, I'll just get it on Spotify. And we have to accept that's something that's changing in the industry. And that's fine by us, but it's something that we as artists and like know this, that all the other bands that we talk to, they always talk about, they're like, man, like, you want to have a good time, you go fucking play Mexico, right? It's not about getting fucked up after anything. It's because the crowd still has the true essence of heavy metal there. And it's everything from physical to merch to just the way they are in the crowd. Like, I will never trade anything for like a Mexico City crowd. Like, that's the shit that I'm talking about.
No, have you gone to Mexico and play? Or?
Not in this band, but I've come in other bands before and played, and it's just like it's truly electric, man. Like, it shakes me. And then you go play other crowds and they just kind of stand still and you're like, fuck, man, like, hit something, somebody throw a chair,
Okay, and well, now let's talk about the first album, right? Are there some videos so that we can watch the band, I mean, the way it is? Or
yeah, so the very first music video we put out was actually from the 70,000 Tons of Metal. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Oh, the cruise.
Yeah, so what I decided to do, because I knew this was a new project and the album actually came out right before I went. So what I decided is, okay, I'm going to bring some copies of the album and, give them out to people and just see if they like it. Well, no one's going to listen to it on the boat, but they brought it home with them and they ended up liking it. So I took a bunch of video footage with my cell phone, just, partying and going nuts and having a good time, and then gave it to our friend. He edited it into a music video. And that was our very first single, which is Conquering the Sun. That's the drinking song from the album. And so that became kind of the very first Ravenous video. And so from there, we got to say, okay, let's see what we want to do and everything. We did a lyric video for Adrift, for that first song of ours that kind of got people's attention. And it did very well. But that was kind of just like the first album was still kind of testing the waters. We weren't very sure, even for us, like what our sound was going to be, how we wanted to do things. We're still kind of learning in that process, right? Even from album 1 to album 2, my singing completely changed, because now we're starting to become Ravenous. We are becoming the actual band. We have an idea of what the sound should be and how it should turn out and all those kind of things. When we did the first album, it was just, hey, I have this cool riff, and hey, I have this cool riff. Okay, put them together and sing on top of it. Cool, this sounds like power metal. Okay, we're good. You know, so that's kind of the thing with the first album, and it was fun. We had a doom metal song on there, like a very slow, heavy doom metal song. We had a bunch of fast songs. We had some guest soloists. I don't know if you know Charlie Paradariego from Peru, but like, you know, him and I played together in Cobra and the Lotus. So I called him and I was just like, hey man, you want to do a guest solo? I have this new band. It's not really a band, but it's just an idea. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever, and just shred it out. So all of it was a very good learning experience for us, not just in how to do everything, but also in saying, okay, well, who are we? How are we going to define ourselves? Because an EP is not enough. When you do a full album, that's when you really start to see, okay, what kind of band are we, and how do we want to be moving forward?
Well, that is excellent. So it's only one video for the first album. Okay, and then I suppose that for the other one, because when I was taking a look at your page, okay, so there are a lot of videos, right? I mean, not playing, but you got like cartoons, and there's one for a video game,
yeah. So we stream. Well, I stream on Twitch, so a lot of our live videos end up getting posted to our page. So that's usually why people see so many videos, because every Sunday I just jump on Twitch and we'll do, recording a cover or doing whatever it may be, right? So that's what that. And then for this album, for this new one that just came out, Hubris, we had the 2 lyric videos, because again, explaining how it works to some people if they don't know, you have to have everything ready 6 months before the album comes out. So in March, we have to have the album done, all the physical discs, all the artwork and everything. And every time somebody tells you they're going to do something for you, okay, I'll have this for you on Sunday, and they're delayed 2 weeks, that one person not getting you the thing in time delayed the whole album by 2 weeks, because you have to have everything ready to go. So we decided, okay, we got to be quick. Let's do 2 lyric videos for the 2 singles. The first one, Die 1000 Deaths. It's based on Akuma from Street Fighter. And, it was something fun for us, because the biggest thing is we really have fun with the music we play. Yeah, the song is about pride and arrogance and kill your masters and all that, but really it's about Akuma from Street Fighter. And so we wanted to create a video that was, remember the old like LimeWire and Napster days, the old anime music videos? It'd be some music just with anime on top. So we wanted to do that for our lyric video, create a lyric video that's just something a little different than just the album cover with the words coming up. And then with Astral Elixir is the same thing. We got the guy to 3D model the artwork, and it's spinning around and it gets all trippy. But it's just, again, to have something different for a lyric video that's not just the basic things you always see. And then on top of that, we went to LA to shoot a music video for the song Claw is the Law, because that song we did with the Dread Crew of Oddwood. They're on the track with us. So we're like, you guys live in LA. It'd be weird to do a music video for the song where the guest isn't in the video. So we'll come to LA and we'll shoot the video and everything will be amazing. It'll be great. We shoot the video. Everything's awesome. A couple weeks later, we get a phone call from the guy that did the video. He goes, hey, I don't know how to say this to you, but all the footage is gone. Like, it's gone. And we're like, I'm like, you're joking, right? And he's like, no, man, I don't know what else to say. It's gone. So we're like, okay, well, so that's a music video that no one's ever going to see now. Maybe one day we can go back and figure it out. But like with COVID and all the testing we have to do, everything, traveling is so hard. So then again, we're like, fuck, we had this video, it's supposed to come out already. What do we do? So now we have another music video coming out, but it's an animated one because we had to get something done quickly. So we have a new one coming out in a few weeks for the Alder Queen, the one featuring Nina Osagueda. And so these are the kind of things you deal with as a band, where you're like, cool, we have another music video. It looks awesome. We're so excited. And then, hey, it's gone. Sorry. And you go, fuck, what do we do? Okay, quickly, let's make another video. And this is the kind of things that we deal with all the time.
And that is really interesting because, I mean, to be honest, it has happened to me. Sometimes you get a project and you say, tomorrow I'm going to do it. And then you see that, well, you don't have musicians, so everybody leaves and all that. So, but what you're telling me, okay, so we'll improvise. We're going to do something else. We're going to do something different. And that is something that we really admire, right? And well, it's really interesting, really be talking to you. What can you tell us? When are you coming here to Mexico to play live? Because we really want to listen to Revenues live. I mean,
I tell you what, man, you put me in contact with a booking agent in Mexico and we'll come. It's as easy as that. Because right now, with like, I'm not even kidding. Touring was hard before COVID. Now with it, it's just it's like something imaginary. Like I'll see a unicorn before I go on tour while this pandemic is happening. So what we say is just if there's booking agents anywhere, contact us, call us. We will set it up. We will get it going. But we need the security of at least knowing somebody there where we can say, okay, even if everything fails, like, you know, we have to improvise last minute, at least then we have somebody on the other side that can help us improvise and get things figured out. So that's my usual response to people. If you want us to come play somewhere, get the booking agent to call us because
no, and
we
that is
want to come and play Mexico.
no, yes, and that is something that is excellent because, for example, I remember that in the past, I mean, for example, like we media, for example, to get in touch with a band, it was like awful, right? I mean, you had to wait for months or for years to get in, but now it's like, I thank you, because now, well, it's like okay, we're going to have an interview tomorrow, and now, okay, so we're talking to somebody in Canada, which, I mean, who already is recording with a label, because I think that you're recording with a big label, right? Okay, what is the label you're recording for?
So it's actually funny. The label that we're on, Feast Beast Records, that is my label. We created a label as a business. That's like the business that we operate under. So everyone's like, you're signed to this major label. I'm like, no, man, it's just us. Like it's, you know, like when Anthrax created Megaforce, you know, like it's just you make your own label just for business purposes. But then the label in Japan, they're our distributor. They're the ones that get all the Japanese discs and the special editions with the Japanese lyrics and everything like that. They're a distributor. So we're technically an unsigned band, but it's just funny because when you run your band like a business, this is the most important thing. You need to have one guy in the band that knows business and taxes and accounting, and that's me in this band. So the first thing I did is say, well, we need to have a company that we work for. Okay, so we'll create Feast Beast Records.
No, that is excellent because, for example, before the interview, I was talking to Roy, who was the person that was telling me, you know what, and I need to talk to this person, I need to talk to this person, I need to talk to the label, and I was like, but he is mixed up, and I was like, geez, I need to talk to a lot of people, right? I mean, to have an interview, and it's and now that you tell him, it's like, oh well, it's only, but it's really, really, well, we admire what you're doing, right? I mean, like Revenues. I mean, it's like totally, I can see that you have a merchandise. I can hear. I was taking a look at the pictures, at the records, at the videos, and everything that you have. And well, it's becoming a big band. And I really hope that you're become. I was listening to your music, and it's like powerful, like metal. I mean, the way metal should be. So, well, congratulations. It's, I mean, excellent music, right? Now, just one more question, because it's like something that it's about heroes. I mean, I can see that in your page you're saying this is for heroes and about. What is that about?
The whole heroic speed metal thing, I mean, it for us was just kind of like a marketing term. You know, every band that's power metal, if you say power metal, you can get everything from, you know, female opera vocals, bands like Beast in Black, that's like, you know, pop synthwave, Halloween, you know, like there's such a big, even just in power metal, there's such a spectrum. So we had to come up with something where when we said it, people would understand it's a little bit different. It's fast, it's symphonic, and it's heroic, it's epic. It should make you feel good. It should make you want to, you know, go to work, get out of bed, go to the gym, kick someone's ass, whatever it is, but you want to feel powerful listening to it. It's and it's something where we want to bring that back to power metal, where it's not just fast pop music or, you know, pop music with guitars. We want to bring something with a true essence of heavy metal, especially with bands like the old school Blind Guardian and Halloween stuff. We want to bring that speed and that aggression and everything to it. And so we thought heroic speed metal, symphonic speed metal was the best way to just kind of describe what we are, so we don't fall under the power metal umbrella of, you know, let's call it the more generic kind of bands.
Yeah, that is true. That is really interesting, really awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much. As I said before, okay, so well, I thank you for this interview. Thank you very much for your time. Tell us something. Where can we find revenues, for example? Okay, where can we buy your stuff? Everything. And
You
what
get it?
do you
Everything, yeah, everything and everything, all the streaming services and all that stuff. But if you want to buy something, go to the website, ravenouseternalhunger.com. Everything is there. And if you guys are bored on a Sunday, hop on Twitch, RA Voltaire. Come and see me there. And I love hanging out and chatting with our friends and our fans. And that's my favorite thing in the world.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much for this interview. And what can you tell us to Mexico? Well, because here in Mexico, it's really bad that you have a lot of fans and you're going to have more, right? So, is there a message that you would like to give to us, to the people that are going to be listening or watching this interview?
Yell at the promoters of the festivals so that we can come play for you guys at your next major festival. That's all I want. I want to fucking come and party with you guys and get drunk with you guys and eat some tasty food because we're ravenous, man. We're hungry.
And just remember the good old San Leonard. I mean, when you're famous and all that. Ah, yeah, I remember that guy. He interviewed me once. Remember all of us.
Absolutely, man.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this interview. Okay, so well, let me just stop this here.